Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now in today's video I'm here on a small getaway family vacation, kind of a long weekend. We've been outside just hard at play for a couple of days now. It's just absolutely freezing outside, so good to get inside, take a quick break. But what I thought I'd talk to you about is a couple of awesome lights from the company Brinyte. Now, Brinyte is a company whose products I've covered quite a bit in the past. We've taken a look at both their sort of tactical line with the OathKeeper series. We've also taken a look at their hunting line with the Artemis series of lights. Now today, a little more towards camping. Here I have a headlamp. This is the HL16 Noctua. And here, the A01 Apollo. Both of these should be fantastic lights. If it's like any other Brinyte product, these are going to be wonderful. So what we're going to do, I'm going to break these open. We're going to get a first look at these. I'm going to get outside, hopefully tonight. If it's good weather out there and I can get some good beam shots, we'll take a look at these where it's pretty dark out there. This should be a nice test. And then we're going to wrap it up with some details and some final thoughts. But with that said, there's a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Brinyte who did provide these for review. Now first here with the HL16 Noctua. This here is a headlamp. It's kind of like a multi-purpose light in a way, but if this is what I think it is, it's going to be a nice headlamp for me today. Brinyte definitely has stepped it up with their packaging. Very nicely done. So as you see here, we're going to kind of get into this. Now, the other thing is, this has a proprietary magnetic charger. I am curious, and I'm not even sure at this point, if it's sort of in line with what they've done with some of their other models. It will be very interesting to see. But as we get into the packaging here, well, you can see they do have a little bit of film in the back, so we'll have to pay attention to that, get it unscrewed here. Here is the Noctua itself. So this is very interesting. I like this size. I like this form factor. It is very cool, and I have to say right away, completely different from anything else I have in my flashlight collection. As we continue through the packaging, yes, this is what I wanted to see. So here is the Brinyte charger. Now, this does seem like some of the other Brinyte chargers I've seen in the past, kind of magnetized right on the side there. So as you look at it here, there you go. So that's going to be cool. And I do at this point at least have a couple of these cables, so that's nice. Some spare O-rings to go with my spare O-ring collection. I don't think I've ever used a single spare O-ring with a single flashlight yet, but I have a lot of spare O-rings. And then just the user's manual. So here you can see this is that headband. I was wondering if this was going to come with it. It absolutely does. Now, I did take a look at an Artemis headlamp in the past, and if you're interested, you can go back to one of my prior videos to see the details. But this is the exact same type of strap, which I really like. This is very lightweight. It's actually completely mesh. You can actually almost see right through it, so it's going to breathe. If you sweat, it's going to work out very well, where it's going to help to evaporate and sort of wick away any of that moisture. If it gets wet, it'll dry quickly. Nice and adjustable and quite lightweight. And then here you can see, well, that's how your flashlight is pretty much going to go inside this rubberized piece, and it will give you some adjustability. But the main thing here being the flashlight. As we get into this, they did already sort of preemptively give a warning that there is a small piece of film. So as you can see there, protecting the battery, we will take this out. This is a 650 milliamp hour lithium ion battery. This is a 16340, a 3.7 volt battery, so very small. It's in the size range of a CR123, just a little bit different. So again, a 650 milliamp hour, 16340 rechargeable battery. Now as we get this installed, we're going to go through the modes real quick. The thread's very nice, feeling really good, and you can see here just a real interesting form factor where you end up with this articulating head And that is very nicely done. Just a beautiful blue bezel. You can see the power switch on the side there. So as I long press and get this started, that's going to turn the light on. Now a single click between the modes. It goes from high to low. Here, this is the high mode, 520 lumens, medium, 200 lumens, low at 60 lumens, and then your moonlight mode, that's going to be a 5 lumen mode. Double press here, that's going to be a strobe. That's your 520 lumen strobe. So as we get back into this here, again, taking a quick look at the quality of the beam pattern. I'll do this down on the tabletop so you can see. Looks to have a sort of relative hot spot in the middle and a nice flood off to the side. If I press and kind of dim it down here, you can really sort of see it's going to be a nice even beam. I think that's going to be fantastic, and even there on the moonlight mode, very subtle. So that should be a nice beam tonight. I'm looking forward to getting this outside for some beam shots. Now something that's going to be very enjoyable about this Noctua, well, that's got a magnetic tail. You can see here it is sliding a little bit. This is very slick, but you can see there it is staying on there. So maybe not the strongest. That's plastic. This here, it's got a real thick coating and that's slick. So this should stick to things for the most part, especially if it's bare iron, no problem. The other thing that's going to be nice, so I'm just going to turn this on and we'll bump it down in mode so it doesn't completely blind everybody in the camera. There we go. You do have the ability to articulate that head, and you should be able to, in better situations, really get this to articulate the way that you need. And you can see there, if you're careful, it will go. Now, I'm going to try this on a couple of different surfaces. I think it's just because this is really slick, and at the same time, as I mentioned, just has a real heavy coat of paint. And as you can see here, leveraging this pocket clip, well, that's going to be nice. This will go right down and inside a pocket. Now this is a bezel up carry, so if you don't like that, that is something to consider, but I think that's pretty nice. It's fairly easy to get in and out of your pocket, and in fact, if you look closely, it does look as if you can switch around this clip. So there, flipping that around, that's going to make this even more deep ride, which is definitely cool. Flipping that around, getting it now into my pocket this way, and that's going to work out very nice. That completely disappears in my pocket, makes it a little more low profile, is a complete deep ride carry, and it also helps to protect that bezel. So the fact of the matter that you can flip that around, I greatly like that. And something very subtle, as I turn this light on, you can see here it does have a bit of a green light for an indicator. So at this point, let's just take a quick look at this inside the headband, and then we're going to get outside for some beam shots. Now you can see here, for people who do want to use this in the headband, you do pretty much need to remove that clip. But at this point, you can see sitting in the headband, that sort of cradle there very nicely, no problem. You can see it does have the Brinyte logo, and then I kind of oriented this with the head to the left-hand side. So as I'm wearing this to the left-hand side, so I'll reach up with my left hand, long press, and that will turn it on, and then single press between the modes. Again, that's going to come on in the high mode, single press down through the different modes, long press, and off. That should give me the ability to pretty much swing this whatever way I need, and that's going to work out just fine. So the only thing being, at this point, you can see it's really, in the headband carrier without a clip. Not a huge deal, but just something to keep into consideration. As you can see here, very nasty out here, projecting up. You can use it to illuminate pretty far off into the distance. My eyes are able to see much better than the camera up into the trees. If there was something over there, I would definitely be able to see it. A little bit limited with what the camera can see just because of the snow, but at the same time, you can see it's illuminating up and into the trees. Now long press here, this is the high mode. As we come out here, very nasty, just blustery and really rough. Actually, I gotta go this way because you're not gonna hear me with the wind and how just nasty it is out here. But you can see here, the high mode doing a nice job illuminating off into the distance, up into the trees. So this here is the high mode. As we shift here, single press, so that's dumbing it down. This here is the medium mode. So you can see, again, the medium mode, actually throwing a pretty nice beam overall, still projecting pretty far into the distance, up and into the trees all the way across the road. Single press here. This is going to be nice for general navigation. So this is the low mode. Low mode, no problem getting me around. Good quality beam. You can see in the middle that hot spot, a nice flood off to the side, working very well. So my ability just to navigate here, no problem at all getting around. Then here, another press. Well, that's the moonlight. You can actually still kind of see here on the ground the moonlight. That's actually more than enough light for me to get around. I kind of like that. It's going to conserve my battery. It's plenty of light to get around and see what I'm doing. And then if I needed to, double press real quick. Well, that's that tactical strobe, long press, and off. Now here, this is the A01 Apollo. Again, it's sort of like a flashlight. They call this a 4-color flashlight. So let's take a quick look at this. We're going to get it out of the package here. It is definitely a very unique shape and something unlike other items that I have, which is nice. I love it when things are just a little bit refreshing and sort of different from everything else I have. But as we take a look at the packaging here, again, very simple with the box. Again, another set of O-rings. Here I have my charger. Now this is a micro USB charger, so not USB Type-C, and then not that proprietary charger. So here you can see that micro USB, a lanyard, and then you just have a couple of cards here. So here you have this sort of warranty card. They're calling it a value-added card. And then finally, this here being the instruction manual. So very simple, straightforward, not a lot to it. Now as we get a look at this here, very interesting, a completely different form factor from anything else I have. It sort of has this disco ball looking reflector. Then on the front, this is a flashlight, has a little bit of a hole that you can put this lanyard through. So you can probably use this like a lantern. You can use it as sort of like a flashlight. This is a pretty cool product, but how do we turn this on? Well, as we unthread this here, let's just take a real quick look at this. Inside there is a battery. You can see it's got that protector on there. And then here, this is a USB rechargeable, pretty much like a AA battery. But it is a lithium ion rechargeable, 750 milliamp hour, 14500. So this is like the lithium version of a AA battery. And so now to select your modes, literally you're just tightening the tail. So as you see, that's a red light. Loosen, tighten, blinking red. Loosen, tighten, blinking red again. Loosen, tighten. Oh, I'm kind of stuck on blinking red, so let's see here. Loosen the tail, tighten it. I'm kind of stuck on blinking red. Oh, there we go. So that's blue. Still blue. Blinking blue. I guess I don't see the reason to need all the different colors. It's blinking blue again. Green. Blinking green. I see, I gotta go much faster. So there's your flashlight. Blinking. Red. Flashing red. Blue. Flashing blue. Green. Flashing green. And then back to your flashlight. So definitely neat. I mean, a little bit different than anything else I've seen now that I kind of understand how to use this. It'll be neat to see this at night, see how it performs, what kind of light it's really casting. Definitely completely different. Has this nice little rubberized grip to help you sort of work on it. And what you were noticing, so if I go back to like the flashlight, for example, let's just get back there, which is this mode. Okay. So now it's in the flashlight mode. If I leave it and I turn it off and I wait a couple of seconds, 2, 3, 4 seconds, well, it has a memory. So that's what it was doing to me. Basically, it was using that memory mode. You can see there a decent amount of light. Now, when we look at the overall performance, here you can see, let's just get back to that regular light here. And there we go. So this here, the white light, that's 100 lumens. So that's a 100 lumen output there. It'll run for about 3 hours and 30 minutes. Now if we go to that flashing white light, the flashing white light, that's going to be 100 lumens, and that will go for 6 hours and 30 minutes. This red light here, as we get to it, that is a 1 lumen mode, so 1 lumen. That will run for 62 hours, and that's the same for all these other colors. They're all pretty much 1 lumen mode and will run for around 62 hours. So at this point, let's get this into the dark so we can actually see the quality of the light and the beam and how this will perform for general outdoor tasks. So outside, the weather conditions completely ridiculous, so I'm sitting in the car, but here with the Apollo, as I turn this on, here you can see going through the different modes. So first things first, let's get past some of the main flashlight modes. Here you can see a good bright output. This is actually pretty nice if I had to find something or read something while I was sitting here. Granted, in the car I do have other light sources, but that's pretty nice. If I was on the side of the road, actually, I could probably flip this onto the beacon if I really had to, and I want to catch people's attention. Now, going through the modes here, you'll see at this point, I do have a little bit of red light. If I wanted to use this like, maybe like a little lantern or my ability to see. Actually, this does a pretty nice job with my ability to see as you look at my hands here, and it wouldn't completely kill my vision. As I cycle here, little blinking light. Now, what is the purpose of this exactly? I don't think this is nearly bright enough to catch somebody's attention from distance. So it's not like I could, put this behind my car if I was on the side of the road changing a tire or something like that. Cycling again here, blue. Now the blue is pretty cool. Again, gives me the ability to look through the car. I can actually see plenty here. So the ability to find different things, that's not too bad. And again, the blinking, I don't really get it. Doesn't make too much sense to me. The green, as I cycle here, again, a nice amount of light. Green is an interesting wavelength. It is actually the best vision, so your eyes actually pick up green the best, and that's really bright. I mean, my ability to see what's going on here, very good with the green. And in a very similar fashion, blinking green, I don't really get it. And then at this point, I'm back to that light mode. So generally speaking, a cool light, definitely different. It has pretty nice function overall, but at the same time, I don't quite understand the blinking modes. Now here you can see with the 100 lumen mode, as I'm kind of crawling around this cabin here, using it to illuminate my way. More than enough beam. I mean, very nice. It's doing a good job illuminating off into the distance. It's only 100 lumens, so it's really only going to get my general surroundings where I'm at, but at the same time, for a nice little light and multifunction at that, it's definitely doing a nice job. And so, all right, guys, there you have it. A look at the HL16 Noctua and the A01 Apollo. Both of these really cool, I can tell you at this point, and based upon the growth you see on my beard from the beginning of the video, I've been actually using these at significant length at this time. The Noctua here, awesome. I like this a lot. I have carried this as an EDC flashlight ever since I started the review. It's been a few weeks now, and just keeping it in my pocket, I can tell you this is awesome. I haven't really used it too much in the headband or as an actual headlamp. I've pretty much used it as an in-the-pocket EDC flashlight. I've had a number of opportunities to use this when I really needed a good amount of light and the beam actually casting off pretty far. I did use it at my local range at night to do some basic inspections and to look around, and I can tell you this definitely beamed all the way out to at least 100 yards and gave me the ability to identify and see. So very, very nice. This Noctua is a cool little flashlight. I do greatly enjoy it. The Apollo overall, just a little bit of a specialty light. It is neat and I appreciate it. I love the fact that it's a different form factor. I just personally haven't had too much need for it at this time. I think the fact that the flashlight is pretty sound, I mean, it's fairly strong and sturdy overall, has a good beam, nice beam quality, that's nice. But these other modes just leave it a little bit lacking, like not quite enough light in my opinion, but it's decent. And then the blinking features are a little bit funny. I just don't quite get the need for it. I want to like this. I just think it's really cool. But again, just not quite needed for me at this time. The other thing that I think would make this just a little better, and I don't know how they do it, but if almost the ring around the bottom of the actual flashlight was sort of built with a magnet so that you could actually stick this to something, and if it was a little bit brighter, these blinking modes really would at that point have more use to me as a signaling device, a warning device, something like that. But overall, definitely cool. And so again, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Brinyte who did provide these for review. And for the rest of you, if you like this content, do me a favor, take a look at my Outer Limitless 2 channel, which is more on the tactical and firearms side of things. At this point, that channel is growing quickly. There are a ton of videos up there, so if you like what you see here on Outer Limitless, do me a favor and check me out on Outer Limitless 2. So alright guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.